Hey guys, we have a huge, very powerful, very dynamic, a little bit wild weekend of astrology before us. We have an exact Sun Uranus square, we have an exact Mars Venus square, and we have our full moon in Leo going on. Normally, I would just be doing a full moon video if it fell on a weekend, or if there wasn't a full moon, I would just be doing a weekend video on a weekend. But because we have such an intense combination of energetics going on this weekend, building into the full moon on Sunday, in this video, I'm actually doing a combination. I'm doing the full moon video. This is my full moon video, but I'm also going to talk about the energy of Friday and Saturday leading into the full moon, because the vibrations coming in Friday and Saturday are really very impactful in terms of what the full moon is indicating itself. And we're going to talk about the buildup of intensity to our full moon in terms of the aspects going on for our full moon too. So this is a combined video, you guys. This is a full weekend video. This is a full moon video. If you guys are just here for the full moon part, skip to the end of the video. I'll put a link in the description box below where a timestamp where you can see, full moon, click here and it will take you right to that place. But that being said, you guys, let's get into this overall analysis of our weekend energetics, including our full moon energy, talk about Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and see what might be coming at us in our experience through life this weekend. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, February 3rd, 2023. My name is Aubrey. This is your astrological outlook of the weekend / full moon in Leo video. Like I said in my intro, we are doing both in the video that I'm doing right now today for this weekend. So like I said, if you are just interested in the full moon energy, click the timestamp below next to the part where I said this is for the full moon, and it will take you right there. But we're starting with the energy, you guys, on Friday, because like I said, okay, first of all, this full moon that we are having is happening in the sign of Leo. It's happening only 1 degree out of exact square to Uranus. So we're setting up a full moon, just to preface this whole thing, we're setting up a full moon that is also a T-square with Uranus in the sky in fixed signs, with the sun in the sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Uranus and Taurus, the moon in Leo. This is a very significant, big time, very tight activation that we have going on, and it is going to color, of course, the entirety of our weekend. That's really why I wanted to include Friday and Saturday in this as well, because Friday and Saturday are actually the 2 days that this activation, this sun square Uranus, is going to be exact. But then, of course, on Sunday, the moon will have moved to the proper degree of Leo to directly oppose the sun in Aquarius, which, like I said, is only 1 degree orb out of exact square, which will be going on Friday and Saturday. So we're going to start with the energy of Friday, you guys. This is day 1 of the exact square between the sun and Uranus. This energy has been building all week. You may have already had some experiences with this energetic dynamic in terms of how things have been sort of playing out. There may be a much greater sense of anxiety, nervous tension in the air, anticipation, feeling like something's going to happen, like an electrified sensation sort of. Expect the unexpected, though, you guys, when we have this dynamic of energy going on, and what it's ultimately trying to do actually. Really, ultimately, I feel like on an energetic level, this weekend and simultaneously this full moon are working to help us to free our mind in some type of a way, or in such a way that we can experience our own inner child, reawaken to the truth of our own inner nature and our own heart, and what our soul truly needs to thrive and feel alive and come alive in this energy. I feel like this moon is really trying to bring us back to life in a lot of ways through restoring our connection to our own heart. Essentially, themes of the heart are really huge right now on an energetic level. And this is going to bring in relationship dynamics. This is going to bring in issues in terms of what is making us feel alive and feel joyful and feel like we are able to sort of celebrate our experience in life and not be so held back or controlled by a mindset or an idea of how things need to be, because that's how they've always been. Releasing mental blockages to true love, to creative self-expression, true self-empowerment, and also this liberating process in terms of the inner child dynamic of things. I'm saying this because we're talking about a full moon that is building in the sign of Leo. This rules the heart. This rules the inner child. This also rules romance. It rules our creative self-expression. The sun in the sign of Aquarius, ruled by Uranus in the square. Uranus wants to shake us out of any rut. Uranus wants to awaken us to something. Uranus wants to bring a greater state of awareness in alignment with an authentic truth or an authentic potential. We're also talking about Uranus in the sign of Taurus. Again, this is Venus. This is the heart also. This is relationships. Sudden endings, you guys, in relationships that are no longer filling us up on a heart and soul level, that are not bringing joy to our lives, or that are a result of a more stunted or constricted mindset that we are breaking free from right now. Lots of shifting partnership dynamics likely this weekend as well, but let's focus in now on the energy for Friday. Like I said, this is the day that the sun hits the exact square to Uranus. Now, Uranus just so happens to be changing degrees and officially moving forward in his direct motion since stationing direct on the 22nd, I believe it was. January 22nd. I could be wrong about that, but I think that was the day that Uranus stationed direct. And Uranus is a very slow moving outer planet. It takes Uranus a long time to move a degree anyways, but it's just very ironic, you guys, how this is lining up today. Uranus is finally marching forward, finally moving forward in alignment with the sun coming into exact square in these fixed signs, Uranus, Taurus, and also setting up for our full moon. And because Uranus is so synchronistically, universally coordinated, in a universally coordinated fashion, moving ahead the same time that the sun is coming into square, we're going to have an exact square on Friday at 15 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus, and then the sun will move to 16 degrees of Aquarius. Uranus will move forward to 16 degrees of Taurus, and we're gonna have this square again ongoing for a second day on Saturday, but this time it's 16 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus. So we're getting a double dose of this sun square Uranus energy. Usually it would only happen for one day, but because of the timing of Uranus moving, this to me is putting an even stronger emphasis on the Uranus vibe, and the fact that it's happening with the sun in Aquarius as well. We are in like and we're in Aquarius season, very, very strong Aquarius Uranian energy right now. Shaking things up, shaking things out, upsetting and disturbing the peace and comfort zones, but it's for the purpose of pushing us off that cliff, you guys, and showing us that we can fly. Uranus makes the changes for us that we haven't been able to make for ourselves in divine timing. We also, another dimension of the energy we have going on this weekend is the moon will be forming a square to the nodes. We're going to have a T-square in fixed signs with the nodes and the moon, Taurus and Scorpio, on Saturday, the day before we have our full moon. So there is a definite divine alignment, divine timing, things falling into place in a proper order, sequences of events, the hand of God that is very much orchestrating and implementing a lot of what is playing out this weekend as well. This is a very, to me, like this whole Aquarius cycle that has this Uranus dominant energy and simultaneous, because the nodes in Taurus and Scorpio right now are also being activated by this Aquarius energy because of the fixed nature of these signs and them being in the same modality. Like, you know, I feel like this is just very significant, like very big business that's happening right now, and it's for important purposes in terms of the unfolding of the overall collective blueprint. You know what I mean? Like that saying, like there's some span, this is not how it exactly goes, but like the gist is, you know, so like there's some years where like decades happen, and then there are decades where it's like nothing has changed at all, like basic type of concept. Like this time right now, like this month, this next couple of months, this 2023 year, and even this like series of years, 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, like moving through like, you know, 2025 or so. These are the times when the big changes are happening, and these activations are energetically what is acting as a catalyst. So, it might not be like an instantaneous manifestation change overnight, but when we look back in the history books or in the history books of our lives, like the logs of our lives, we're going to see that a lot of like the very transformative dynamics that come into play over this next period of time are going to have started or been initiated in this energy right now, in the context of these changes that are taking place for us. So this is just like some big time stuff that we have going on right now, you guys, and it is ushering in literally a new era. Like, we are collapsing the previous paradigm and we are rebirthing, recreating ourselves, evolving consciously into a new state of awareness in alignment with a new vibrational frequency that is carrying us into the age of Aquarius. And the changes that we see happening around us, those are the energetic consequences of, both what's happening within us and what is being orchestrated and unfolding at a higher level right now. So actually, it's kind of like epic times that we're in right now, and Age of Aquarius, here we come. But all weekend we are just building and infused into this Uranus energy. It could feel intense, anxiety provoking as well, a sense of definite like nervous tension in the air, anticipation, maybe like feeling like something is about to happen, like the hairs on the back of your neck standing up a little bit, like internal restlessness and inability to sleep, like kind of like, again, like tapping your foot, like pacing, you know what I mean? Just like this anticipatory like feeling that like maybe something is about to happen, something's about to change. And honestly, you guys, because we are in the third pass of Uranus right now, because Uranus came to these degrees, Uranus retrograded, and now Uranus is moving back forward. I do feel like this is also about corrections. I do feel like this also has to do with reconciling or resolving or tying up or moving on or adding on or completing something to do with things that have been unfolding actually over the past couple of years. I feel like we may begin to gain a greater awareness at this point in time about what a lot of maybe the big and more confusing or chaotic changes or just situations that we've gone through over this past couple of years perhaps have truly been about. Like, things may begin to sort of like falling into place right now in a way that makes more sense in the context of this past couple of years, in a way perhaps that maybe we haven't been able to see it before because we didn't have the foresight, that we weren't able to have the context of the future to see the relevance or the necessity or the significance or the importance of what was playing out previously. So I do feel like that's definitely a dimension of the situation as well. Now, aside, you guys, from the Sun-Uranus exact square that we have coming in on Saturday, now, basics of this, I've been talking about this all week. First of all, expect the unexpected. You guys, we want to try to slow down this weekend. This is accident-prone energy. It's accident-prone energy because it's very impulsive and it's very reckless and it can be spontaneous. We want to make sure that we are thinking before we are acting, okay? That we are not just being so caught up in a vibe or in an impulse that we're being careless, okay? It's like clumsy energy, you know what I mean? It's like careless mistakes that we're making because we're not paying attention, because we're like so caught up in, just in the electricity of the moment. Like, it's Uranus energy, which is this very high frequency. It's a higher octave of mercurial energy. It's just this very high frequency electric energy. And a lot of times it can have us like sort of like on one kind of, you know what I mean? Like, it can almost have like a more like almost like manic tendency. Like, it can bring out brilliance, like flashes of insight, like sudden epiphanies, like awakenings out of nowhere. Very exciting, very exhilarating. It makes us crave excitement. It makes us crave freedom, wanting to just like let loose and, be sort of like young and wild and free and stuff like that. Or just like inspiring a sense of, a desire to, and with the Leo energy going on as well, like, be able to free our heart. And again, I feel like that is one of the reasons this energy has a lot to do with helping us to break through some mental barriers to like our own like inner heart-based truth. Like I feel like it is helping us to rediscover or reconnect with the inner child, or the parts of ourselves, the light within us that may have been dimmed for a very long time, or that we may have been just very detached from, or felt like we had to surrender or we had to hide for one reason or another. Like it's a rebirth sort of the light in this energy. And the full moon in Leo is ruled by the sun, you guys. The sun right now is doing what? Is in the sign of Aquarius, making the exact square to Uranus. This is in the sign of Uranus, making a square to Uranus. Uranus is about awakening. Uranus is about authentic potential. Uranus is about truth and freedom. Leo's about the heart and the soul, and how we play and how we express ourselves. It's like our true personal creative self-expression. It's like all that glitters and shines within us. This dynamic wants to free that, okay? It wants to liberate that. But here's the catch, okay, with this energy. It's also triggering and activating the black moon, because we have the black moon Lilith now currently in the sign of Leo, transiting for the next 9 months. This could be triggering our insecurities regarding all that glitters and sparkles and shines within us, and our ability to express that freely. And it also brings up themes of power, it brings up themes of hierarchy and order. It really can bring up and trigger some serious ego issues. And ultimately, I feel like the black moon and Leo energy boils down to in a lot of cases, what it is that we are sacrificing for a more superficial sense of love or glorification or attention or admiration, because we are afraid to look at or to develop or to it's because we don't trust that creative potential within us and its ability to bring us to the status and the level of recognition and appreciation and value and worthiness, essentially, that we feel like we are and that we deserve. It's like a fear that we are not truly worthy and that we don't truly have that spark within us. And so therefore, we're willing to sacrifice parts of our authentic truth or parts of ourselves in order to gain more superficial validation or like I said, like recognition or reward, so that we can try to fill that void within us that is existing. Because when this energy is strong and activated, like I said, like we may have fears around or self-doubts around or insecurities around whether or not we truly have that light within us. So we seek it externally. We try to attach ourselves to things externally that are of the value that we feel is lacking within us, or that we are afraid to acknowledge within ourselves when we have this energy going on. It also, the sign of Leo, this is the inner child. It's what truly brings us joy. It's the true creative energy, right? So issues around creativity, issues perhaps around fertility as well, and just child or childhood issues, children. Also, though, the inner child. And again, like I feel like with the light, with this full moon shining on it and all this Aquarius Uranus energy, the awakening Uranus to perhaps the subconscious fears or the subconscious blocks that have been preventing us from unleashing that light within us. Again, what I was saying earlier, this theme of releasing mental blockages that have been keeping us from seeing or from aligning with or from radiating the truth of this light that maybe we had been repressing or just very detached from, this creative force, this inner child energy within us that is universal seeking, to shine and to come out right now as we go through this process of self-actualization that we always talk about on this channel, as that is part and partial to our energetic transition into the age of Aquarius. At this point in time, universe is calling us all to put on our big boy and girl pants and step into the shoes that are characterized by our destiny, like trying to put us on a path to activating our destiny and finding our true purpose. But we can't do that if any part of our life is a lie, if any part of our life is like a facade for the purpose, like I said, in terms of this black moon Leo energy of masking, betraying our own authenticity in order to receive that more superficial, surface level appreciation or recognition or attention. It's going to be a very attention-seeking energy. People may, over this next couple of days, heading into this full moon, you really may find people going out of their way to sort of seek attention in various ways through both positive and negative means, and to be dramatic. Like, this could be a very dramatic energy as well. But narrowing back in on Friday. So we have this exact Uranus square to the sun, day one going on. The moon is actually going to start the day in Cancer and will end the day, will move into the sign of Leo by the end of the day, activating this black moon energy. Again, like, this really could be triggering people. It could also be triggering like issues with status and hierarchy and stuff like that. Like, what people are willing to do to maintain status or maintain position by like any means necessary, sacrificing soul for status. The black moon and Leo energy also reminds me of, like, a lot of times in the entertainment industry and stuff, you hear about how people like sold their soul to the devil for like fame and stuff like that. Like, to me, that is very, very much the black moon energy vibe, or black moon in Leo, energy vibe. Like, what are we willing to give up within ourselves, within our heart, within our like literal soul, right? This Leo energy, in order to achieve a level of fame, to a level of status, a level of recognition, be like to maintain a position in a hierarchy. Okay, so things along these lines could be coming up today on Friday, Saturday tomorrow, and definitely moving into the weekend, or moving into Sunday as well. What within us is being sacrificed when we do this, that if cultivated could have the potential to bring true, right, this true status, this true position, this true power through our own personal creative self-expression being able to shine, which is what this process of self-actualization, right, this organic, authentic process of development, growth, this hero's journey that universe is calling us towards right now as we are transitioning ages, is actually trying to do for us. So it kind of makes sense, in the context of the overall greater unfolding plan, why these issues might need to be triggered for us right now, just honestly so that we can get a better, more reacquainted with who we really are and what we really want, and what is really important to us and what our gifts and abilities really are, so that we can find our purpose. That's ultimately what all this is about, because it's also, it's not just about us like doing all of this work to serve universe. When we are acting from this place of self-mastery in alignment with our purpose and in alignment with our truth and in alignment with our destiny, our frequency and vibration will be like at such a point, in such a way that we will also be attracting and magnetizing to ourselves that which is bringing us such a greater level of fulfillment on these soul levels as well. So, it's a give and take. We are doing our best to go through this process of self-growth and self-improvement, but on the other end of that process, we are also preparing to receive that which is so much more in alignment with what we need to fill up our heart and soul and experience this tremendously greater level of fulfillment and enjoy these Leo themes, right, in this life going forward. So, it's pushing us in that direction through what may be some more like ugly feelings kind of that come up, or that could come up as we go throughout this energy. So overall, there could be some fears sparking, especially later in the day, Friday, and moving through the weekend, perhaps about position or status or reputation or power, and maybe what we have to sacrifice in order to maintain those, but also could be coming up now with this Uranus and the square energy, whether or not the joy and love and happiness and wealth perhaps that we are experiencing in our lives is actually real, is authentic, or is it artificial? And are we realizing in this energy that it's not filling us up because it's not actually a reflection of like that inner child, or like what we truly need on that heart and soul based level that we are gaining this awareness or awakening to in this energy. So we have this black moon energy going on, this black moon and Leo energy going on all weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Like I said, later in the day, Friday, all the way through our full moon on Sunday, because of course the moon will be in the sign of Leo. Whenever the moon is in the sign where the black moon is, or the sign opposing the black moon, this is what gives us our black moon energy and dynamics, because the black moon works in polarity. So, the sign with the black moon or opposing the black moon, this is activating the black moon energy. So the whole transit of the moon through the sign of Leo is of course going to be activating our black moon, which means we have a black moon, full moon going on. So this is the backdrop, okay? This is like the emotional backdrop in the context of the other aspects, the sun square Uranus, and also this other square that we have going on, which I'm about to start talking about, which is quite significant as well, especially considering one of the planets involved is Venus, who is currently ruling the position of Uranus in the sign of Taurus, who we know is large and in charge and running the show this weekend. But the second major aspect that we have playing out this weekend and will actually be exact on Sunday with the full moon. So this aspect is building all weekend as well, is an exact square that is playing out in mutable signs between Venus and Pisces, Mars and Gemini, masculine, feminine, in a square in mutable signs. Mutable signs, this is transitional energy. This is adaptive energy. This is flowing energy. This is one thing breaking down and transitioning into the formation of another thing. It's not the fixed energy. This is a much more flexible energy. And with the Mars Venus square going on, this to me, in the context simultaneously of the Sun square Uranus with Venus ruling the position of Uranus, could really be indicating some sudden unexpected endings or shifts in partnership dynamics that are really coming into formation, maybe out of nowhere at this point in time. This energy is exposing Venus squaring Mars. Whenever we have a square between Venus and Mars, it's exposing hidden tensions and relationships. And Mars, this is our self-assertion. This is our action. This is our need to assert ourselves and to get ahead, to do something. This is our energy body. And then Venus, this is relationships. This is peace. This is balance. This is harmony. So when we have these energies coming to a square, it's like, where is our need to assert ourselves or to do something or to take some type of action, or our ego as well, Mars? Where is this interfering with the peace, the balance, the harmony in our relationship dynamics? Or where are our relationship dynamics blocking our ability to be independent and to get ahead in one way or another? Or where is our own desire to, represent and embody the Venus qualities and people please and, maintain social graces and stuff like that at odds with our need to Mars and Gemini, make a decision, take some action, assert ourselves, stand up for ourselves, like move something forward, make something happen. So this is the type of stuff that could be going on in the midst of these big changes that are also trying to happen, initiating sudden dynamic change to what's not working and breaking through resistances. Remember, we are also talking about the Sun in Aquarius. This is what's trying to move us forward towards activating our potential. So honestly, you guys, like any relationships that are out of alignment with authenticity or that are not supportive of our growth, like that's what this is. Any people, places, organizations, situations, partnership dynamics, whatever, jobs that are not supportive of our growth, and not just like our perception of our growth. No, this is the growth that universe identifies as our growth. This is the growth that universe wants sparked within us right now. And whether we see that at this point in time or not, like we have wings and universe wants us to fly. And like I said, like whether we have discovered that for ourselves or not, anything that universe perceives as keeping us blind is getting this is what is getting shooken out. Like this is what is these are the blockages that are being removed. These are the towers that are coming down in this lightning bolt hitting the tower type of energy, because that's what this is. If they are out of alignment with authenticity and based on anything superficial, things are getting rearranged. There are certain actions that we need to take. There are like certain choices that we need to make now. And there is a need for self-assertion and for self-expression. And that could really be causing a conflict with keeping the peace this weekend. It's likely to be a wild weekend, you guys, like both in terms of, relationship dynamics and that aspect of things, also like financial stuff all over the chart this weekend, primed for some type of disruptions. It could just be kind of crazy. It's so interesting as well because you know how I said this Uranus Sun transit, the square is a 2-day activation, and we also have the Venus Mars square going on. The Sun on Friday is at 15 degrees of Aquarius. That Sabian symbol is 2 lovebirds sitting on a fence singing happily. And so, to me, this is actually specifically indicating relationship dynamics that are not on our frequency, that are out of alignment with like the harmonic vibration that we're coming through now, that are like not singing the song of our heart, right? That are not tuned properly, are and that are not making us happy, therefore, singing happily, right? This is what is up for some major changes with Uranus coming through and the sun at that degree. It's also so interesting because Uranus right now is at 15 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a man with a rakish silk hat, muffled against the storm, braves a cold. So we're talking about lovebirds sitting on a tree, sitting happily, sun, and then we're literally talking about like braving a storm as well with Uranus. So we've got this storm coming through, and it's like, whatever those birds are that aren't on that same vibration, like one of them is not sticking around probably to see how it goes or to weather or to brave the storm. Okay, so I feel like symbolically it's sort of being referenced, the relationship dynamic aspect of things in the energy on Friday. We also, honestly, may be feeling like a bit spaced out on Friday before the moon moves into the sign of Leo and starts activating the black moon energy. The moon will first make a trine to Neptune and then also come into an opposition to Pluto. It could just be an intense day on Friday, but the moon making a trine to Neptune, we may feel just like a little bit spaced out, or like we can't stay grounded. Again, like we're sort of just like hovering a little bit above the ground, like not sure if the reality that we're navigating is actually real, or maybe it's just some type of an illusion, or maybe I'm just actually dreaming right now, and none of this that I think is happening before me is actually real or true. There could be this vibe going on. We also have Venus, who is in the square to Mars at 10 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is an aviator in the clouds. So this is also indicating, that we may be feeling like we're sort of steering through a daydream a little bit, or a fantasy land, or things might just seem a little bit foggy, or we might just be like in a little bit, like I said, like a little bit spacey, or a little bit of a daze walking through whatever is happening. I do recommend slowing down, using caution. Like I said, this can be a clumsy, accident prone, like careless, reckless, impulsive energy. So we want to try to get a handle on that and not get caught up in the vibes that are kind of just maybe disorienting our ability to focus and to like not make careless mistakes and stuff like that. Of course, like I've said, the sun square Uranus, expect the unexpected, nothing according to plan, out of the ordinary situations, experiences, awakenings, realignments. Let's talk about Saturday now, February 4th, 2023. Interesting Sabian symbols going on Saturday. Saturday's actually a huge day energetically. We have the second day, day 2 of the exact sun square Uranus, happening now at 16 degrees Aquarius and Taurus. We also have the moon in Leo making a whole bunch of aspects. Going to be in an exact conjunction to the black moon in Leo, going to be in a trine to Jupiter as well, and simultaneously building into a square. We're going to have a T-square going on with the nodes of the moon, destiny and karma, past and future, what we're releasing ourselves from, what we're moving into, the dissolving paradigm that is falling away behind us, the new path that is unfolding before us. All of these themes and more coming up in the energy on Saturday, in the context also of the exact sun square Uranus that is playing out. Huge changes happening, and it's so interesting. It's just a very significant day, and of course building into the full moon energy that is coming on Sunday. I want to start by reading the Sabian symbols that we have going on Saturday. Yesterday, it's so funny, the sun was at 15 degrees of Taurus, right, or of Aquarius, talking about and Uranus was at 15 degrees of Taurus. The sun was talking about two lovebirds singing happily, and Uranus was talking about a man with a rakish silk hat and muffled against the cold braves a storm. So to me, this was talking about like perhaps braving some storms and relationship dynamics that may have been coming, which, Uranus in the sign of Taurus ruled by Venus, Venus in the square to Mars. This is disruptions in relationship dynamics. But moving into the energy of Saturday, 16 degrees now, Taurus and Aquarius, where the positions of this square are. 16 Aquarius, where the sun is on Saturday. This is a big businessman at his desk. And 16 Taurus, an old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. This to me is talking about disruptions in the financial aspect of things, or the partnership, the work, the business aspect of things. Remember, we're talking about the sign of Taurus, where Uranus is ruling, like work projects, sign of the builder. It's where we use resources to develop something. It's also very financial. Taurus is associated with the second house, which is one of the financial houses. This is all about money. Has a lot to do also with business, with work, with projects, with partnerships. The big businessman at his desk, this to me is bringing in the element of the like more like resource, supply chain, financial, economic, partnership, work relationship, land, like food, dynamic and aspect of things. And then the old teacher fails to interest his students in traditional knowledge. Like, we need a new story. Like, the old way of doing things isn't working anymore. We are not finding like new solutions to old problems by trying to apply the same standards or the same solutions that didn't work in the past. You know what I mean? Like, this is a need for a new way of doing things generally. The Earth on Saturday, 16 degrees of Leo, brilliant sunshine just after a storm. So interesting. We're talking about the sun, right? The position of the sun in a square to Uranus. Uranus rules lightning storms. Coming out of that degree, specifically about the storm. Brilliant sunshine just after a storm, a full moon in Leo that is going to be happening the very next day, which is the full radiance of the sun, right? The solar energy being projected through the lunar dynamic is, if you think about it in those terms, it is the moon that is most balanced, I guess you could say, in terms of like lunar and solar energy. And we're talking about whatever storm is coming through is to restore the brilliance of the light, to restore the brilliance of the sun. The sun, Leo, the heart, right? The heart, the soul, the inner child, the ability to experience joy and to play and to create personal creative self-expression. Whatever storm is coming through, whatever the square is representing, whatever the big businessman at his desk, whatever needs to be rearranged in order so that we can like productively make these changes happen, it's indicating, it's for a restoration of the light and the brilliance and the potential and the creativity and the love and the joy and the ability to radiate, the ability to shine. We have Mercury, 22 degrees of Capricorn, a general accepting defeat gracefully. We have Venus, 11 degrees of Pisces, men traveling a narrow path, seeking illumination. We have Mars, 12 degrees of Gemini, a slave girl demands the rights of her mistress. We have Jupiter, 7 degrees of Aries, a man successfully expressing himself in two realms at once. And we have the black moon at 4 degrees of Leo, a man standing near trophies he brought back from a hunting expedition. All of this to me, like when I sort of put this symbolism together, I feel like it's talking about like a process of surrender, a process of moving on, gaining illumination, gaining enlightenment that is inspiring, a desire to seek freedom, to detach ourselves from things. Like we're in Aquarius season, right? This is the season of the sign of the rebel and revolution and awakening and truth. And so, I feel like this is generally talking about endings and beginnings, being at a point where we are accepting perhaps what wasn't working, willing to surrender the losses, maybe accept the L's, take the losses that we've, take responsibility or accountability for that, but simultaneously like allow ourselves to be freed in a way that is bringing us back to life, that is reawakening us, that is sparking the light force within us, and that is helping us to get on a path in alignment with discovering or cultivating or executing on like our true purpose in alignment with this path of self-actualization and what universe is calling us towards at this point in time. Freedom. Like this is a weekend about some radical liberation coming through. Even Mars, right? A slave girl demands the rights of her mistress. Like we are taking back our power. We are seeing the light, or we are searching for the light, or we are discovering the light within and maybe what was keeping us from seeing that before. And it's going to have this very transformative impact on us as well. We may be weathering some storms or some disruptions perhaps, but brilliant sunshine just after a storm. It's for the purpose of restoring the light, you guys, in one way or another. Of course, this black moon, exact conjunction with the moon on Saturday, triggered. People could be very triggered again. This will probably manifest in terms of like ego issues, like maybe people being very attached to their ego and their need to assert themselves or to like get their way or to be seen a certain way, or attention seeking energy. Very, very much so. This is also a very, very dramatic energy. Not only that, like I said, the moon in Leo will also be forming a trine to Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter currently in the sign ruled by Mars, feeding into that Mars energy in the square to Venus with ruling the position of Uranus. Like a lot of this is all connected and it's all sort of feeding back into itself. But the moon in Leo in the trine to Jupiter, if the black moon wasn't there, this would be a really positive, powerful, beautiful aspect that would really have people feeling very optimistic and hopeful and loving and compassionate and loyal and joyful and, you know, really just wanting to celebrate and like enjoy life to the absolute fullest. The moon in Leo trining Jupiter in Aries. However, with the black moon there, you know, people who are picking up more so on this black moon energy could be very triggered, these ego wounds, dramatic, attention seeking, like I said, very ugly energy, expanded. Jupiter expands things, trying to facilitate things. So big emotional displays with the moon in Leo and all of this intensity building towards the full moon, very, very likely in the energy on Saturday, could be very positive on one hand, this outpouring of love, joy, personal, creative self-expression, happiness, or on the other hand, just this very ugly, triggered energy that needs to be put on a pedestal, sort of, in order to feel seen or to feel satisfied. So if you've got any of that going on, that's totally what the vibe is. Themes coming through, like I've said, relationships, partnerships, finances, resources, material possessions, money, wealth, assets, projects, creative pursuits, comfort zones, status quo, food, supplies, resources, children, inner child, authenticity, creative self-expression, choices, decisions, actions, jolts, things literally like jolting us of awakening and awareness, shaking us out of a daze, maybe that daze that we were in on Friday a little bit, reinvigorating us and bringing us back to life. This is a whole push, you guys, to wake us up and to show us our personal truth, to show us the true nature of our heart at this point in time and what it is we really need to feel alive. I would do my best, you guys, not to overschedule your weekend, to build space in there for an impulsive like urge to do something, for some spontaneous activities or whatever, because people are just going to likely feel a need to break free. All of this Uranus energy, things are not going to go according to plan, most likely. That doesn't mean they won't go better than anticipated. That doesn't mean that they can't necessarily be way more than we would have expected. You know, Uranus can work both ways. This could be very positive momentum and surprises too, especially in consideration of the fact that this is the third that Uranus is now direct after, you know, this is the third go round. So like I said, I feel like this is like bringing things back together, and it could really be some very positive things that are very divinely aligned that are coming into formation with us, but you know, are coming into formation for us. But the moon, like I said earlier, will also, after the trine to Jupiter and this conjunction to the black moon, move on and begin to make this square, the T square, to the nodes of the moon, the north and the south node, both in fixed signs as well, with the moon in Leo. Again, this is like a desire to play. Like universe wants us to play and to create and to experience joy and to just feel free and to reconnect with that light within us, with the inner space within us. And there could be some just like more divinely aligned or divinely timed or fated whatever going on this weekend where we suddenly find ourselves in a situation where that is being unlocked within us. And it may not be, you know, these are squares, you guys. This is a disrupting energy. This is a friction creating, frustration producing energy, but it's trying to crack us open. It is for the purpose of breaking through these mental prisons that have prevented us from from connecting essentially with the truth of our heart, freeing the inner child, a slave girl, the child demanding the rights of her mistress. This is a release and a freeing of the purity and the innocence and the love and the creative self-expression and what we can do with that within us as universe attempts to reawaken us to the truth of our own magic, essentially, so that we can get in alignment with our purpose, activate our destiny, and start going down this path to true fulfillment. Shifting negative mindsets, awakening the inner child, hearing the call, you guys, listening, responding, and reacting to what we're being called towards at this point in time. Big businessman at his desk as well. Like I said, putting on our big girl or big boy like pants or suits or shoes, and preparing to walk this new path, not doubting ourselves. Okay. Trusting. There's a huge element that is coming up, especially with this full moon that we're moving into, that we're about to start talking about now, in terms of trusting also what's unfolding and just being open to miracles essentially coming together for us if we are heeding the call of the universe right now. Moving on, you guys, let's talk about Sunday now, February 5th, 2023. 1:27 p.m. Eastern time. This is when the moon will be coming. This is when our full moon will be. The moon and the sun will be opposing each other. That's what gives us our full moon at exactly 16 degrees and 40 minutes of the signs of Leo and the signs of Aquarius. As you guys know, I read the Sabian symbols, and when we read the Sabian symbols, we round up a degree because we look at the energy that is incoming, that is pulling in, that is beginning to express, is beginning to manifest, not the energy that is dissipating and that is falling out. Whether you're reading your natal chart, it doesn't matter what type of astrology degree you're looking at. If you're incorporating the Sabian symbols, you always round up. So that being said, 16 degrees, 40 minutes, the exact placement of this full moon. We're going to be looking at 17 degrees of Aquarius, 17 degrees of Leo for the position of the sun, position of the moon. And of course, it's only 1 degree off of where Uranus is at 16 degrees of Taurus right now, because we just got done talking about how yesterday was the exact square between the sun and Uranus. But today now we have the sun coming in and we're forming this square, and it's so close, you guys. Like, it really might as well be exact, just because the degrees are one orb off. Like, it's still very relevant. And honestly, like, a lot of what might be playing out with this full moon may have started playing out when the square came into fruition on Friday. But anyways, obviously this full moon in the creating a T-square with the planet Uranus is an energetic lightning bolt. It is energy in extremes, shocks, surprises, disturbances, impulsivity like to the max, craving freedom, change, a sense of excitement and exhilaration, and just being like unrestrained and kind of in like an unbridled truth type of energy. Like I said, like needing to, or like, express a sense of inner restlessness, perhaps, that we just can't restrain and we can't hold back. And we should give ourselves the opportunity to do this. Make time for us to do this, sort of follow those impulses, go with those spontaneous urges, but doing so in a way that is not reckless, that is not careless. We don't just want to walk off a cliff because we're so distracted by an epiphany that came to us and something that we're researching or looking at. You know what I mean? Like, we need to keep our wits about us in the midst of this highly charged whatever this energy could potentially be bringing to us. Bizarre, unusual, strange behaviors and actions and situations and stuff, and even like stuff coming up within us, perhaps seeking to awaken us to hidden aspects of our heart, right? And of our creative potential with this full moon in Leo that is playing out. A need to be true to ourselves. That is what we're wanting to break free from. This is us breaking the facades. This is us, like I was saying, like, we are breaking through the mental prisons that maybe we have built for ourselves that kept us caged out from our true selves, that we are dropping the facades, we're dropping the masks, like, we're showing our true colors, we're singing in our true, tone and frequency, we're allowing ourselves to be ourselves, and we are not fearing the consequences so much. Even in this black moon energy, we'll put it this way. Those that are resisting the what is welling up within us right now to speak our truth and to align with our truth and to express our truth and to show our heart and to, experience true versions of love and joy and stuff like that. That is where this energy can go real dark and real ugly and turn into some very like distorted ego type issues that could be just real, like I said, like kind of ugly, okay, with the black moon also being activated. But again, like that is stemming from a fear to unleash ourselves, or a fear of what we have to be unleashed not being worthy of the role or the position or the status that we feel that we should have, and so therefore looking for it externally. But I mean, this is removing the mask, you know what I mean? Like this is having to face ourselves for who we really are and having to embrace that and having to discover the value that exists there. We're talking about Uranus in the sign of Taurus, you guys. This whole transit of Uranus Taurus, this past 2 years, I've been talking about how this energy is trying to awaken us to the truth of our own value, of our worth, of our talent, of our potential, and of what we can create, what we can build, what we can grow with that can give us a sense of, material beauty or comfort or abundance or wealth or stability. Like that's what Taurus does. It's a sign of the builder. It's a sign of growth. Taurus takes resources and cultivates something that it can enjoy and be in the luxury of later. And that's what this energy, like I said, Uranus in the sign of Taurus, the great awakener, Taurus, the sign of the builder, the sign of growth, the sign of value, discovering, waking up to the truth of our own value with this full moon going on in the context of that which we truly hold in our heart and our personal creative self-expression and that which makes us feel alive. A need to be true to ourselves, our heart, our passion, to let it out as well. With Mars in the sign of Gemini, we want to feel alive, we want to come back to life, and that is what this energy is doing. It's trying to re-spark that initial life force within us. It's trying to reconnect us to our original passions, to our original ability to feel and to relate and to like empathize and love, and trying to reinstate our own loyalty to ourselves and show us where we betrayed ourselves in order to get a false version, a plastic version, a faulty version of that which we can actually create by tapping that potential within us. That's what this awakening right now is about. It's trying to show us our own creative potential through helping us to discover the value within us and inspire us to do something with it, as we are, like I keep saying, being pushed down this path to activate our destiny, to find our purpose, and to gain the sense of much greater fulfillment. But again, Leo, the moon, this could definitely be bringing up themes of childhood, children, romance, also, like I said, like fertility. This is also just like fun and games and celebratory stuff, parties and sports and all that type of stuff could be more of a prominent theme this weekend. Relationships, of course, as well. We have, like I said, the exact Mars-Venus square happening at 12 degrees of Gemini and Pisces, these mutable signs, alongside our full moon energy as well. So while the Sun square Uranus is no longer exact on Sunday, the Mars square Venus energy very much is. Again, exposing hidden tensions in relationships, in our relationship to ourselves, in our relationships with others, where our need to be independent, to take some action, to assert ourselves, to get ahead is in a conflict with, or being disrupted by, or at odds with a need to maintain some type of peace, some type of balance, some type of image, some type of social graces or something like that, some type of relationship dynamic, some type of financial situation as well. So this is another highly, highly, highly energized and prominent theme that we have going on right now. But we're talking about a fixed sign T-square, you guys, full moon, breaking through resistances, sudden endings, sudden conflicts could definitely be coming up, but sudden endings are kind of likely with this as well. Shifting alliances, shifting partnership dynamics, speaking truth to power, self-assertion, self-defense as well. So interesting. We actually have the sun at 17 degrees of Aquarius for our full moon on Sunday, and that Sabian symbol is a watchdog standing guard, protecting his master and his possessions, guarding our loyalties. The moon in Leo is a very, very loyal energy. The moon itself and the position of the earth, 17 degrees of Leo, a volunteer church choir singing religious hymns. We need to practice gratitude, you guys. We need to open our eyes and our mind to see the light. Like I said, to like hear the trumpets, to feel the magic of the realignments that are underway right now, to feel the electricity in the air, and to know that this current is carrying us in a way that will turn on the light. If you think about it also, what does electricity do? One of the main things we use it for is to illuminate, to create light, to give us an ability to really see things for what they are. And so that's what this is doing. It's opening our eyes, it's illuminating things, it's showing us the truth about something. So, the realignments that are underway right now are to help us see things better. And with the full moon in Leo, it has a lot to do with helping us to see our own selves better. Definitely disrupting the comfort zone though, but pushing for real progress, pushing for real growth. And again, universe's version of progress and growth, not our necessarily personal version of progress and growth. So volunteer church choir singing religious hymns. We need to surrender to the divine plan underway. This is also blessings in disguise. Venus and Mars, Sabian symbol where they're an exact square. Venus, an examination of initiates in the sanctuary of an occult brotherhood. Mars, we've already talked about this degree, 12 degrees of Gemini. Venus was at 12 Pisces. A slave girl demands the rights of her mistress. Freedom, right, from the mind control or externalized perceptions of power. Secrets revealed, overcoming and conquering our own demons and our own lower selves, gaining a sense of greater conscious awareness, being able to perceive the magic and the mystery from our own liberated perspective, asserting ourselves, demanding freedom, demanding truth, no longer settling for the old stories, the old beliefs, the limitations, breaking free, standing up for ourselves. It's all significant, you guys. It's all like, it'll be interesting to see, how things go this weekend, but I do feel like this weekend is likely to kind of be like a critical point or a critical moment, critical changes in the context of the future happening in divine alignment this weekend. We could definitely see some explosive or some electrifying or shocking things happening along especially the lines of these Taurus themes, financial conflicts, fights over money, fights over love, fights over possessions and stuff like that as well. But seeing the truth about something, the light bulb going on, defending ourselves, taking action, being loyal to ourselves as well with the watchdog standing guard, protecting his master and possessions. Fears could be being triggered with the black moon energy about expressing our truth. But, I feel like universe is kind of going to be forcing us to do it. Emphasis on the heart. This could also put an emphasis perhaps on like the physical heart, and we could hear a lot more about maybe some electric based heart issues or some heart issues generally over this next period of time. But, literal, metaphorical love, and Leo also rules the heart. There just could definitely be an emphasis on the heart, whether we're talking about the physical heart in the body or the heart as a metaphor for love, relationships, partnerships, or just soul connections and just what we truly want, what we truly desire. Venus right now in the sign of Pisces, aligning us with the higher version of our ability to love and connect and relate, and, a more idealized version of how we want to relate to others and interact with relationship dynamics generally. Venus squaring Mars, you guys, just a big emphasis, relationships, sudden endings, but it's for the purpose, right? The brilliant sunshine after a storm. It's turning back on the light, and universe is trying to wake us up, you guys, to truly what's in our heart so that we can follow our passions down this road towards activating our destiny, pursuing our purpose, and gaining a much greater sense of fulfillment, because that is how we create the age of Aquarius on a microcosm level, macrocosm, microcosm, as above, so below. These changes are happening on a frequency basis, but the impact that they're having on us and the way that the cosmic blueprint is orchestrated causes us to actually physically make this transition one by one by one over the years, and ultimately that is how we get to the age of Aquarius. So that's what I have to say, you guys. That is what I have to say about the energy for this big full moon that we have going on. It should be dynamic, okay? I'm going to grab a synchronicity card now just to get a piece of advice from God, Spirit, Universe on what would benefit us to keep in mind as we're going throughout this full moon phase, as we're going throughout this weekend. Let's see what it says. I actually had 2 cards pop out. The first card that popped out was the no card, but the way that I pulled it up right now, it actually says on. And so I think of this card as the no card and the on card, and it's funny to me that when I pulled it up, it was like in reverse. It wasn't no, it was actually on, which is what I've been talking about this whole time, about like universe waking us up and trying to help us turn our light back on. And I just find it to be so like the concept of Uranus ruling electricity, and electricity being the, you know, the mechanism that illuminates, that turns on the light. And we're talking about this full moon in Leo that is in a square. It's just, I don't know. I just feel like it's about waking us up, okay? Turning on the light, and then this card. But anyways, the card that we got, what we need to keep in mind this cycle, it says seek the truth, which again, you guys, is exactly in alignment with the current vibes. God divideth the light from the darkness. Genesis 1:4. Are you sure you know what is true and what is false about the situation? Just because you do not see results yet does not mean that the answer is not on its way to you now. Remember, everything in the world must move over just a little bit before your wish can come true. Know God is working on it now. The power of God is working in and through you, and you will triumph. Do not judge by appearances. You cannot see everything that is happening. Uranus is the silver lining planet. Uranus brings blessings in disguise. We are surrendering to the changes right now, you guys. Brilliant sunshine after a storm. There may be a storm coming through. We may be being recalibrated a little bit, but it is to bring back the light and to reinvigorate the life force in one way or another to turn us on. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. That is my overview, my analysis of this full moon in Leo that we have going on right now. If you guys liked it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think they would like this type of astrology content as well. Leave me comments, you guys. I'm so grateful for all of you. I really appreciate your comments. I have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, Instagram, some other social media stuff in my description box below. I do a little blog that I write over there as well. Put some shorts over there sometimes. So if you're into any of that, that's where that type of stuff is. And come back with me on Monday, you guys. It may not be Monday. It may be Tuesday. I don't know. I don't know if it will be a video for Monday or a video for Tuesday. But either way, I'll be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. And I will see you then, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. Have a beautiful full moon weekend. Slow down. Stay grounded. Following impulses, but not in a way that is reckless or careless. I will see you next time, everybody, and have a beautiful full moon. Bye, guys.